Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to My World, My Music, where we speak on everything that is about the music that I produce and subjects that are about music and outside of music. Today, I'm going to go ahead and speak about a topic that really doesn't come up in the industry. I mean, very few people speak about it. Those that do, I applaud them. But I'm going to go ahead and speak about it in a perspective of myself, and that is mental health. And in this industry, I would say, for me personally, mental health plays a big part in what goes on, in my life. I mean, I have to go ahead and constantly keep it under control. Um, the matter of depression, PTSD, um, ADHD, and a few others that I will not speak on. But the thing is that I've had to learn throughout the years how to go ahead and manage all this. Um, a lot of this did not come about, um, just all of a sudden. I mean, this has been going on, since I left the Marine Corps back in '85. And at times it got progressively worse. But then again, I didn't know I even had a mental health issue. I just went about being me per se. But in the meantime of being me, I was still involved in my music. I was still doing what I needed to do, but I was reckless. I was very reckless. And that recklessness just became a huge problem, not only for me, but also all those that were around me or connected to me. Uh, that led to pretty much failed marriages, poor relationship with my kids. But the one constant that was always around was my music. Um, and that I would have to say is something that I hold on to dearly. I've been a musician since the age of 8, and though my childhood wasn't rosy, but I can say I have no regrets. This, my mental health has always gotten in the way of things. But like I mentioned earlier, I work really hard to go ahead and manage it. I mean, it's not easy. Um, some people would say they don't know that they're going through a mental health issue, or they just have depression. They don't feel up to snuff. Well, for me, my up to snuff, yeah, was depression. I felt down, but then I also felt at times suicidal. I also was angry, angry to the point that I wanted to hurt people. So, there's a lot of things that was, ahead and taking place. But again, my fallback was always music. Um, and here I say all this because I want people to understand that um, I had to find ways other than medication to go ahead and put things into perspective in order to go ahead and keep what was going on with me at that present moment at bay. Um, if I felt a bout of depression coming through, I had one or two choices: either just go through it or find something to do. If I wasn't involved in my music, um, per se, at that moment, that I could go ahead throw it to the back of my mind or whatever the case may be, I would go for a walk. Um, if not, go to a party, somewhere where I could go ahead and immerse myself into something other than the depression that's going ahead and trying to overtake me. There are moments that I got into writing, just to go ahead and keep my mind off of things. Or sometimes, even when I was going through something, I would pick up a book and just start to jot down what I was going ahead and going through. Um, it's again, like I said, it's not easy. It's not easy trying to go ahead and deal with mental health. Um, Most professionals would say medication will help. Well, I'm one to say that medication never helped me. So I always had to find a way to go ahead and get through it. Um, Now, those that know me, they see me. I'm always smiling. I will go ahead and try my best to have a great time. You know, I'm a very friendly person, but there's a constant battle going on. I have to deal with my demons. I have to go ahead and deal with, just my past and all sorts of things that have built up in me to make my mental health a bit out of control at times. But with going out, with going to do things, again, we're right back to music again. I will go ahead and sit here, and you only see the partial of of my studio, but I would sit here and just go through something. Just go ahead and sit here and try to knock out a beat, um, something that would just go ahead and keep my mind off of stuff. Even if I never come finish it, I will go ahead and spend the next half an hour, hour, two, three, four, whatever it takes to go ahead and just keep on going. Um, you know, I used to go ahead and hear this saying growing up: "A mind is a terrible thing to waste." And when it comes to mental health, yeah, you it's a terrible thing to actually waste if you let it get a hold of you. I said to myself a long time ago, I'm not going to let it get a hold of me to the point that I got to go ahead and, be medicated, fully. And I'm not responsive to people, and things of that nature. What I say is, with all this, is try your best to go ahead and have fun. Pick up a new instrument, um, or try something that you've never done before. Painting, something creative, painting, writing, trying a new instrument, um, going out and sitting amongst a drum circle or dancing within the drum circle, you know, um, learning new cultures, things that are going to distract the mind from being idle and then causing you to go ahead and go through all these changes. Um, yes, you will be triggered. Yeah. For example, for me, I can't deal with, 4th of July. So I have to go ahead and wear extra protection on my ears to the point that I don't hear anything at all. Um, I can visually see everything, but the trigger of hearing the sounds becomes a problem for me. So again, I'm one to go ahead and advocate for anything other than medication for mental health. Now, it's not to say that medication can't help certain individuals. It can, but it's not for me. So, of course, you need to explore, research, whatever it takes for you. I mean, it's taken decades for me to go ahead and figure out that I have to be involved in something creatively in order to go ahead and suppress depression, anxiety, my PTSD, um, and a whole host of other things that I could go ahead and go through. But I I look at it like this. If I don't put myself in a position that I'm having fun, then what will happen is my mental illness will go ahead and take over. So to avoid all that, I just go ahead and make things happen. I'll sit here and knock out something, something. I mean, it could be just an idea for another song. It could be something to go ahead and do for, you know, um, for a client. I mean, it could be anything, but I have to go ahead and put into my mind that I'm having fun. Because as long as I'm having fun, the rest of that doesn't even happen. Mental health has no place in my mind while I'm having fun. And really, it doesn't have no place at all. But hey, it's there. It's a part of me. So I say to you, find something that you have a passion for. And despite that you might go ahead and have roadblocks, hiccups, people, saying things about you, all sorts of negative things that could go ahead and come about in a human's life. Find something that you're passionate about and just have fun with it. Whatever everybody else is going through, that is their business. Because for me, I had to learn whatever they have to say, whatever they want to do, that is their own. I have my path and I'm enjoying the journey. So I've made this short just to go ahead and give you an idea of what happens within my world. And I hope that you could go ahead and understand and take a little bit from it, and hopefully it'll help you. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Please give me a like, hopefully subscribe. And if you have any questions or any topics you really want me to go ahead and speak about even further, leave it in the comments. This is Sal Negro, my word, my music, and I appreciate you. Peace.